Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Whole Reffin' Show.
Hi, Julia Lynn here.
That's right, Julia Lynn. Okay. Listen, it's been a few weeks. It's that time of year, though. It was the
Yeah.
Christmas holiday season, going into the new year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Not to mention, I did. I may still be a little nasally, as I call
Yes,
it.
I think I'm a little nasally
Still
too.
getting over a little head and chest congestion. And I'm on like 10th or 11th day of it, but I'm glad to be back nonetheless.
Yes, so glad to be here.
Absolutely. So the topics today, real quick, and then we'll go into understand we got some questions we'll go into after that.
Mm-hmm.
So the topics we're going to talk about after the questions we answer today are going to be we're going to talk about modern wrestling. We're not going to talk about any of my past or any indies, the WCW, the TNA, none of that stuff. We're going to talk about Raw on Netflix debut last week with some hot topics that were involved from that show, as long with Collision and Dynamite being simulcast on also not just TNT, but going on to Max,
Right.
which is a big deal too.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's making a big deal. I'll just say it, and I know you got fans of AEW that just love AEW. You got
Right.
fans of WWE, or you got fans that love it all. When I was a fan, I loved all pro wrestling because pro wrestling, at the end of the day, it's all pro wrestling to me. So, would I like one better than the other? Absolutely. But I still would respect all areas of pro wrestling.
Right.
I don't get fans that say, oh, well, WWE sucks or AEW sucks. Well, here's the thing. That's all fine and well, but after a while online, when these fans do this back and forth bickering on sites, it gets to be annoying, and it's like, I wish social media was not alive. You know?
Yeah, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, it's social media. That's one thing I hate about having the internet nowadays and the Facebook groups and the chat groups on Facebook about pro wrestling and this group and that group. Everybody bickers and fights and fusses. Back when we were pro wrestling fans, we didn't have all this crap. So we'd go to the shows.
Yeah.
We talk amongst ourselves, but we all were wrestling fans, and we didn't carry on. I guess maybe if we had that outlet, we may have, but I'd still doubt it. I think it's a different era as well.
Yeah, most definitely. It is.
But we're going to talk about all that. I was live at the January 4th Charlotte, North Carolina Bojangles Arena Collision taping, and they also had ROH taping there. I'm going to talk about that. Of course, me and my nephew went to that on January 4th. But, as a fan, because I went in as a fan to this, because I did not work for AEW. And I enjoyed it as a fan. But the old school way, where I enjoyed it, I didn't look at it as, I'm going to critique first bell to last bell on this match and say this girl or guy sucked. Right. Even though I'm in the business for over 30 years, I can critique a match. My point is, these fans have never stepped foot in the ring, and they critique it like they were in it. Does that make sense?
Right.
And that's what makes me mad. You read this crap online. Sure, yeah, they're a consumer, and you pay your hard-earned money probably to go see these live events like anyone else. Mm-hmm. And you pay the subscriptions to watch the Raw, now on Netflix, of course, or this show on that over here. But you got to realize, guys, if you haven't stepped foot into that ring, your opinion matters to a certain extent, but when you start telling them that they're doing something wrong when they're the actual performers and you've never been in it, it kind of, I just always hated it. I'll just say that, and to all you fans that do that, I think it's ridiculous. But moving along, or I'll be on this soapbox all day, and you know that.
Right.
Just like I used to hate the word, and I got over this. I used to hate people say that pro wrestling was fake, but I've got over that. It's like, whatever. You can believe whatever you want. But, I've been in it. I know the real wrestling. So, whatever.
I think some people just like to talk about things.
Yeah.
And express their opinions way too much. Just, they want to feel like they belong, probably, even though they...
I get that. But here's one more thing, and I'll get off of it, because I'll probably go get all heated up. There's my paper sliding. I'm going to get all heated up and hot and bothered about this. It's the same way when I look at a football game.
Right.
I've never been a football player. But, some people take that too serious. And they say, oh, the team, F my team. They did so bad this season. Okay, first off, don't tell him that that you could be a better quarterback or he should have done this better. The quarterback should have done that better when you haven't done it.
Yeah.
He is there getting paid for that profession. And once again, I'm not going to sit there and go, well, you know what? I think this guy over here did that wrong, so I think he could have done this better. And that's my whole theory with the pro wrestling fans and how they treat pro wrestlers. And they actually go on social media, they go on the Twitter accounts, and they talk crap to these guys about how they suck. And it's like, you've never been in there. You don't know what it's like to be in there. So you can have your opinion on if the match was good, yes, because you're the consumer. I get this.
Right.
But do not try to tell these guys how to do their jobs. Just like do not try to tell me how to do my job when I did it, because I was the referee in that ring getting paid, not you fan sitting in the crowd. And I'm not trying to be a dick, and I know the fans we love the fans, but you got to know your boundaries just like we know our boundaries. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sometimes they are expressing, like, I've never done it, but I surely have strong opinions on certain things.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
But sometimes you tell me I'm right, so that just justifies myself.
Well, you've been around the business for over 30 years, too, with somebody that's been in it.
I know, but I've never done it. I say that, I could do better than this person, but I haven't.
But my whole thing here is, it's really the internet and social media. I hate it. Mm-hmm. I hate to see people bickering and fight.
People are very... They just sit there and type and
keyboard warriors,
yeah.
Armchair quarterbacks is what they are. But anyway, I'll move on. But honestly, I do love the fans. Most fans that you meet at the conventions and stuff, they're very, very great people.
Well, yeah, they want to be there.
Yes,
they're paid to be there. And
most fans I meet at most of the indie shows that I still do when I do get involved, they've been great, awesome. It's just something about the internet that brings out the worst in people, I think.
Yeah. Well, they're not to your face either.
That's true.
They're to nobody's face.
That's true.
You can talk shit, but when you're face to face, you're like,
Yep, you're going to keep your mouth shut, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Of course, 100%.
So, before we go into that topic, we had questions, but I also want to bring up, guys, Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company, cowboyrevolution.com. Go there and check it out. I know the holidays are over, but still use promo code JamieT123. Save that 15% off. And get you some good merchandise, T-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more.
You wore your merch to our first rodeo we went to.
I did.
Salem,
I wore my cowboy hat, which is really not a cowboy hat. It's a ball cap that says cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It was our first rodeo.
That's right. Yep.
It was good.
It was.
I really enjoyed it. It was. They had great music. I like the music. I like the stuff. I like
my favorite part was
clown.
the kids riding the sheep.
Yes.
Them little kids, like toddlers.
Yeah, they might have been 3 or 4 years old. They throw them suckers on the back of the sheep and boom.
And they hold on and for dear life. And next thing you know, this one kid.
And I was like, what the hell is this?
I'm telling you, this one kid, he kept
really
riding it.
Yeah.
And then when he got up, he already knows how to work the crowd.
He did.
Yeah.
He worked it good.
He's already ready to be being an adult.
He stayed on the 8 seconds or whatever it's supposed to be.
That kid's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's going to be good. He's going to be.
That was super cute.
He's going to be good at something because he's already got the crowd in the palm of his hands.
The rodeo clown is funny. The bulls they look tough. Ooh.
The what now?
The bulls.
Oh yeah.
Like the bull riding.
Yeah, I was hoping for the bulls
but just one guy
to chase the clown, but I didn't see it.
I don't know if that's a real thing. It might be just a TV thing.
I don't know.
But it was really good.
And it was snowing a lot outside.
Yeah, we drove home. Some snow. It was really good.
Drove home in the snow from the Salem Civic Center over back to Roanoke where we live.
Ringside seats or
second row.
Call it dirt side.
Second row, dirt side. That's right.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. So, what else we got here? We talked about, we haven't been on for a while because the Christmas holiday and New Year's and all that good stuff. Hope everybody's New Year's already started off good.
No, it's January 13th.
Yeah, January 13th. Yeah.
2025. Whew. I've known you for 25 years.
Yes, you have. I know it's been the grandest of your life.
Yes. By fast, but slow. I don't know. It's weird, but good.
I don't know if it's by slow. It seems faster now the older we get.
But that is true. The old people are correct. The older you get, the faster it goes. So enjoy. Slow down. Take a minute. Look around.
Right. So, you got the questions, right? Mm-hmm. What do you got for me?
Do you want to talk about anything first?
Well, we can talk about Raw Netflix real quick.
Well, go ahead and start with that.
Yeah, we'll start with that, guys.
I didn't see it, so what did you think?
I'll be honest. It was a good show. Okay. They hyped it. I know they hyped it. It is sports entertainment.
Yeah.
They had the wrestling. It had it had a big time feel to it. But it's not the wrestling of yesteryear, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure it had a whole different feel.
Yeah, and the biggest things I got out of it, and the topics I got out of it, the wrestling itself, the matches they had, the few matches they did have. I thought
they didn't have a lot.
It was four matches, I think.
Why so little?
I believe it was only 4. It was like a 3-hour show.
Yeah. With 4 matches, so it was more of a
document. The Rock was on it.
Flashbacks.
The Rock was on it, and of course he would be. It was LA anyway. But yeah, The Rock was on it. The couple things that I didn't like from it by me watching it, the only things that popped up that I didn't care for was the whole fact of the new referee's attire.
What is that?
Well, it's more like a polo shirt type look with the WWE logo on the chest.
Okay.
In white, the shirt is gray and black. So I guess the black and white stripes are gone.
Oh, they still have the black pants? Or is that...
Yeah, everything else is black on them, yeah. It just, like UFC type ref. Look more like a UFC type ref. Mm. Yeah.
I think some things need... Like, change big things, keep some things...
Change is good, change can be bad.
But you can keep some things...
Yeah.
But...
I don't know how I feel about the look so far, but so far I don't really care for the shirt. It's like black and gray colors. I just don't care for that. If you were good, I don't know, maybe a different color top. I don't know.
But the stripes is what makes it, I think.
That or the blue shirt and bow tie was a big thing back in the WWF days.
Well, my personal opinion, I didn't care for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so I don't know what they're.
I
guess they're just going for a different look, and that's why. But I really don't care for that. I'd really see the striped shirts.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think you see it, you know what that means.
Yep. And the other thing,
like, this is the ref, or what's this guy doing?
Right. I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody can still tell it's the ref. It's just the look, and the whole look was different. Like the mat's different, the whole ring's different looking. The canvases, and it's just maybe it's something we gotta get used to. But for first impressions, from being a lifelong wrestling fan, I would have to say I didn't care for the new look.
Okay.
But what do I know? Obviously they know what's going to work for them, I hope.
Right.
And then the other things, the hot topic people talked about was Hulk Hogan.
Okay, he was there too.
Yeah, Hogan comes out and he's cutting his promo. He's putting over his beer.
He's doing his beer commercial.
And then
have you tried that yet?
I have not, because they don't sell it up here in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, only certain states have it.
It's shipped in from
and of
Tampa.
course Florida.
Right.
He gets booed, and then there's, I believe, the chance for F you Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people want to go with it's political because it's political views, but then
that should be separated, I think.
Yeah. And then a lot of people said it was from stuff he did in the past.
Which should also be.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing. People, some people in the business have said Hogan needs to apologize for what he did years ago.
Has he not, though?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he has.
I have no idea. I can't really
I'm sure anyone.
But just like we were talking about Chris Benoit a few weeks ago.
You're right.
Yeah. You got to separate your ill feelings for the individual when it comes to their talent that's been given to the industry. It's
a whole different.
Yeah. So
separate the person from the character.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's one thing the fans don't. And I'm not. I hate doing this because, like I said, I do appreciate every fan that's out there because it's paid the bills.
You're right. Yeah.
But the ones that get upset and the ones that are like can't get over certain little stuff need to realize that, you know, I'm sure they've messed up, said things. They're just not in the public eye. And he's going to get crucified. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's apologized or not. Should he? Maybe. He is in the public eye. Maybe you should.
Right. I'm sure he's probably has. I mean, I don't know.
But just like with Benoit, I think Benoit deserves to go in the Hall of Fame. They're not putting him in it, like I said. So I separate their personal life to what they gave us in their professional life. And I appreciate everything Hogan's ever did. I'm not going to tell you he's a saint. I don't know him that well. He's probably not. Right. But I'm going to tell you when it came to this business and when the rock and roll era came, the rock and wrestling era in the 80s with Cyndi Lauper and MTV and all that, Hogan was a part of the ride, and Hogan was the right guy
I think you had to be a certain age and a certain... That was just magic for a certain...
I think, you know, that's one of the biggest eras.
If you weren't there, you probably don't... You might have seen it, but you just didn't get it.
Well, I would think anybody that was my age now, if they'd look at it, they'd probably be like, ugh. But they'd love what they see now.
Right.
Because it's a different era.
Yeah.
But
nostalgia and childhood has a lot.
It does
to do with it. Yeah.
But you also
special.
Right. But when you also look at a business such as the wrestling profession, you know, you got to look at it. If you go back, like I do all the time, I look at stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s, today, and I find good and bad from everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got to give him his just due, even if you do look at him in a different light and go, hey, you know, he said these comments that, and I don't even know what the comments are. We'd have to actually look all this crap up. I don't remember the whole story. It's been years ago. I can't remember it. But it was kind of racial, I believe. And here's the thing. He said something racial. Did Hogan apologize? I don't know. But apparently when he said this stuff, it was recorded behind closed doors.
Yeah, and that's not fair.
That's the bad thing. Yeah. It ain't like he's out in public doing stuff.
Right.
And
you feel like you're in the safety of your own home, I think we all say.
Yeah. Not saying it's right.
No, but I think we all say some things that we would never say.
That are off the color, off the
you're
grid.
At home. You're in your space.
Yes. And, you know, I just say, you know, we need to look at this guy for all the good things he did for the industry and go, hey, you know, he helped revolutionize the business from the 80s on. He did this, he did that. He also came in and did the NWO in the 90s and reinvented himself as a heel, as Hollywood Hogan. And because he knew he had to, because the red and yellow was done, right? So I'm just saying we need to look at the things he gave us, whether it was in your childhood or you was in your adulthood and you loved pro wrestling. Just look at it and go, hey, you know, I enjoyed these times. And he gave us all these good times. He said this, but let's look at him as the performer and give him his dues.
I think time also has made us very sensitive. Like even when we watch The Price is Right from the 1980s, Bob Barker's a dick. And we're like, oh my God, he said that?
But now that's what we say now, but then I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's so weird how even though you don't know that your society can change everything, and you
Yep.
you try to do it for the better, but
That's correct.
sometimes it's like, my God.
Right. So all I'm trying to say to the fans out there is I want you to have your opinions. We always
Right.
had. But I want you to think when you have your opinions, the only message I can give you is, um, let's have your opinions in a way that doesn't make, I'm going to go ahead and say it, doesn't make you look dumb,
Yeah.
stupid online, and
But
everybody's...
do we even know who these people? I mean, half these people don't even know who they are anyway.
No, but, I go in these chat groups and I'm like, my God, I can't believe
It's very ignorant.
I'm a member of this,
Maybe you should not.
Right. But anybody, here's the thing. I love pro wrestling, always have, as a fan. And even to this day, I love it as a fan still, even though I've been in it,
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it a little differently sometimes than the average fan because I've been inside the ring. I know the ins and outs of it.
Your perception's different.
Perception's different.
Just like maybe you can't have the perception of someone that's just a fan and never done it.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, it's different because you don't know how they feel. They don't know how,
Sure, maybe I'm prejudging as well. Yeah. You're right. I mean, that makes a fair point.
Yeah.
Ooh. So moving along. Overall, I thought the in-ring wrestling with Roman Reigns and everybody involved, it was good to see the Undertaker on the show and all that. Everybody performed very well in their matches. I enjoyed it. It's pro wrestling. I mean, like I said, to me, it's the king of sports. It means more to me than any other sport that's been out there, and it always will. Moving along, let's talk about Dynamite and Collision. Asheville, January 1st, was the Dynamite simulcast, TNT and Max. Which you can watch it on there now. They did the benefit for all the people that are suffering in Asheville. I believe $100,000.
Wow.
I believe is what I heard.
That's good.
Yeah, is what was given from them. But there's a few guys on the show that actually live in Asheville, and they help do this. Excuse me. And that was Edge and Cash and Dax. Yeah. But good guys. And that was a really good show. That was the show that Jarrett's building up his run for the AEW World Title. Okay. He started it that night, which is going to be a good angle, I believe. And not sure. Oh God, sorry, bless you.
Excuse me.
Wow. I'm over here coughing a little bit. You're sneezing.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
If nobody farts, we'll be all right.
That's true. Yeah, that's a different story, though, guys.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead, though.
And then, went to Collision. Let's move along. I went to Collision with my nephew on January 4th.
Okay, and that was at the Bojangles Arena?
That was in Bojangles Arena.
Charlotte.
Which, to me, was always the Charlotte Coliseum.
What you think of it now? It's aged a little bit.
It has, but they kept it up good.
Nice.
It's still a great arena. It's like going into it in the 1980s to me still. Back in the Crockett days. You just relive. You think, you're like, oh man, I remember when this happened in here. And I remember when, I'm going to tell you a story real quick about this building. So this is early 1988.
Wow.
January 88 to be exact.
Oh, okay.
And Luger was being kicked out of the Horsemen. So I remember this vividly in my mind. I remember when Luger sits there, and they were doing it over time, slowly, making him switch to face and all this. And in Charlotte, it just exploded. He came in there, and he was fighting Anderson, Blanchard, Flair, all of them. And I guess the big turn happened that day. And I'm going to tell you how marketable this is. I remember this, too. On the way out, after Luger did the turn, they had Luger's T-shirt marked down.
No.
Now listen.
Okay.
his old T-shirt when he was with the
Right.
Horsemen, marked down. It's just a Lex Luger T-shirt. I remember
Okay.
it was a gray T-shirt with Luger on the front because I got it.
I'm sure. I was going to ask you, did you get it?
Yes. And they marked it down for a few bucks, and I swear to you, I bet they
Wow.
sold every damn shirt. And I was just a kid, and I remember that. I remember the merchandise table there
Wow.
at the old Coliseum was just being bombarded, and people got excited.
Yes. Isn't that great?
They were like, "Oh my God, Lex turned face," and
What a great memory.
yeah,
And that's why these old buildings, it's good to keep them around.
Yeah.
Some of them, if you can.
Well, that and
people have memories of.
I remember going to many a tapings in there. It was also another thing there. It happened like a year before. It was like February of '87. Ronnie Garvin was teaming with Barry Windham. I think they were the U.S. Tag Champs, working the Midnight Express. Cornette throws a fireball in Garvin's face.
Wow.
And I was front row for this.
Because
if you go back and you look at the old tapings, you can see me and my father on the front row. But anyway, it's at the old Coliseum in Charlotte. And when that fireball hit him in the face, everybody's like, it got a lot of heat. This is when people really got mad and wanted to kill people. And, this place was packed, probably 10,000 people or more.
Wow.
And Cornette got that heat. And then this is when they turned Jimmy Garvin, his brother, into a face and said, because they had the same last name. So they's like, then they turned into him being his brother. And then the Garvins teamed up and Jimmy Garvin became a face. So I remember that memory too, the fireball of the face on Ronnie Garvin. So many things happened in that building. It was historical. Nikita Koloff turning face in late '86. There happened with Dusty. So that building is very, very magical. The Rock and Roll Express just appearing there in front of sold out crowds in '85 and '86.
Yeah.
'87. Morton working Flair in the Coliseum. Sold out.
Wow.
Going back to that, my first time, and this is going way off topic from Charlotte, but my first event was actually in Roanoke when we lived here. And it was like July of '86. And I probably talked about it before, I don't know. On here, of course. I know you know about it. Mm-hmm. But Morton worked Flair in a cage here in Roanoke. And that was like the biggest thing ever.
Where is that at the Civic Center?
Yeah, down here at Bergman, yeah. Okay. So I got so many memories of Charlotte and Roanoke and Greensboro. We could just talk a whole episode about memories from that. But, yeah. But being back in the Bojangles Coliseum was awesome. I have worked there a few times. I worked there for Stallion in 1995. Mm-hmm. One of the big shows there where he worked the Iron Sheik, the main event, and the Rock and Roll Express worked McKeever and George South. I'm trying to think what else. Went to many a Nitro there as a fan. They do the Nitros there back in the 90s. And I also worked for WCW in that building. Yeah. So that was really cool. Got to work with WCW in the building with Luger and Brian Knobbs and the Harris brothers and Vito and a bunch of guys. That was in early 2000 after I went to WCW. So a lot of good memories in that building. But being back there for this, being a fan, being down on the floor seats, front row, on the entrance side, watching this and just enjoying ourselves. They taped ROH before and after the actual live Collision. And, all these young kids were putting on good matches. And some I didn't know, but I was introduced to watching. And, there's a lot of good people in the business still. It's just the business has changed. The landscape's changed, right? So, but, seeing that live and seeing the main event, which was FTR and Copeland working Jericho in his learning tree. The main event was a good 6-man tag. And then the Rock and Roll Express, got to see them, got to introduce my nephew to them. My nephew don't know nothing about the Rock and Roll Express.
Right.
He just sees what he sees on TV now.
Yeah.
And just explaining to him how big they were at one time and how great they were. And then to beat it all, the best thing happened. So Jericho's cutting a promo about how if the Rock and Roll Express was still here, blah, 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 right? He would do this, he would do that. Well, there are old music hits that they used in the 1980s.
Nice.
And to me, and probably some fans in there that had seen them in their prime, it was like reliving the 1980s with their music hit, right? Yes. And that historical building. And, like I said, my nephew don't get that.
Right.
But to me, it was like, wow, this is pretty cool. They come out to the ring, and then they get put over, take care of Jericho, and all that good stuff. And the other guy was with him. I can't think of his name right now, and I apologize about that. But they got to be over and left on a high note for the night.
Nice.
And that's how they left the actual show at the end. This was after the ROH tapings, yeah. So it was a good evening between that and seeing some of the newer guys, the tag title match, Private Party and Rush and his partner, and Briscoe working Garcia at the TNT title was really good. Really good opening match on Collision. Both them guys. Briscoe was good, Briscoe, one of the Briscoe brothers, his brother had passed away about a year or two ago. It's been a little bit now. But yeah, they were always phenomenal in Ring of Honor. It was good to see him work Garcia in that match, and that was a good opener. The tag match was good with them kids. The 6-man tag ended good. Jarrett worked Aaron Solo, which I used to book Aaron Solo for Florida Underground. And it's good to see that. Good to see that kid do it.
Good,
yeah. So I was happy to see that live. So I had a good night. And all I can say is, if you haven't been to a live taping for that, guys, and you're a true pro wrestling fan, and let's say you're just used to seeing WWE now, right? Give it a shot.
Right.
I mean, it's pro wrestling. All these guys, the young ones and the older talent like Jericho is still around, and Edge and Jarrett and all these guys, they're still giving it their all. Go see it. It's a good performance, and it's fun. It's fun. So that was my Collision report, I guess. I had a good time.
Very good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So what do we have?
All right.
Going on with questions.
With the questions. So our friend Mike Orange has got 2 for us today. Thank you. So you ready?
I'm always ready.
I know you are.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1 from Mike. What do you think of all these different kinds of Kanes on the independents?
Okay.
I guess like Kane's like the wrestler.
Yes. Okay. So, Kane. Let me tell you. So this explain the Kanes to you real quick. You may not know these Kanes.
I probably don't.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
Well, one is blue Kane.
Blue?
Instead of fire, it's like ice. Yeah.
Okay.
One is Coke Kane. You get it? He does Coke, and he's got the white outfit on instead of the red and black.
Okay.
And then the third one is Gay Kane. He acts gay. Yes.
Okay.
My theory, my opinion, I guess, is what you want to have on this, Mike.
Mike, what is your favorite? That's what we should have asked.
That's true.
You should have told us.
I'm going to be honest. I don't like any of them, and I've seen videos. No. Okay. First off, a lot of guys.
What are these like? How do you even know these?
It's parodies.
How do you know these independent?
Because these videos get shot online. They go on YouTube, TikTok, all this.
So it's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, they probably did it for that specific reason.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're just wanting to get hit, a hit.
Right.
But here's the thing. I don't care for it.
Be original, right?
It's dumb. Well, more than likely, they wouldn't be able to get over on the indies without trying to do something like this.
Okay.
And sorry, I just don't care for it. I think it's dumb. It's a waste of time. And the only true Kane is the Kane that we saw in the late 90s.
Right.
And did his thing. And going through the later years. But no, I don't like it at all.
There's no hurricane?
Well, there was Hurricane Helms.
Well,
but not like
this one.
Oh, now you got an idea. Now,
Okay.
listen, some indie guy will take this now.
Be Hurricane.
Yeah. Some indie guy will do this. So
good.
Thanks, Jules.
I like it.
Now,
Hurricane. I can think of some more.
Now, me and Mike have to put up with these stupid TikTok videos.
It could be lidocaine.
Okay.
And numb your soul. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, Mike.
I got some more.
Thanks for the question, bud. She's probably got a whole list now.
I like lidocaine.
Why don't we just have an indie show and have
all the canes?
Have all the canes on it. You think they'll make money?
As long as we can make some money, let's do it.
Let's do it. So I just want to know.
If any of the canes are listening,
we will book you.
Yeah.
And we're going to make more canes. And it's going to be a cane fest. What do you think?
Orange cane. That'd be Mike.
Yeah. There you go, Mike. You're Orange Cane. What do you think, buddy? I think he'll go for it.
Think so?
Yeah.
What do you, Tuck Cane?
Tuck Cane. Sounds weird.
It does. That did not work.
Okay. I think it's good to go. All right. So, no, I don't care for it. None of them. But, hey, if we're going to book a show, maybe.
Okay. What are you going to call it?
Cane Fest?
Oh, God. Is it like a Wing Fest?
I don't know.
I heard Wing Fest was not good. Talking about wings real quick. The chicken nuggets from Taco Bell are doo-doo. Just doo-doo. Pure doo-doo.
Yeah.
If you would like to argue with me, please do.
Well,
it was sadness. Sadness in a sack.
To be honest,
a sack of sadness. Awful.
Should have been thought about beforehand.
Did not. Well, I thought, maybe.
It's Taco Bell and their chicken nuggets.
I'm starving. We're in a hurry. I'll get some quick nuggies from Taco Bell. No.
Want some quick nuggies?
Quick nuggies that took like 20 fucking minutes to get. But anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So, on the side note, disgusting chicken. Poor quality chicken. Poor quality nuggies.
That's right. We don't like your nuggies.
Don't like it. Need a refund. Thank you. All right. Anything else about the Canes? I was thinking about Raising Canes. They have good chicken.
I do like Raising Canes.
Yeah. That's some good ass chicken. Much better.
That is very good.
So that's another cane.
Yep.
Chicken cane. Chicken feet. Okay. Are we done with that?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Moving on.
Oh my God. Question number 2. Thank you for this one. Do you think Julia would have been a good wrestler? If so, would she be a high flyer or a powerhouse? I'm a brick house. Oh my God.
That's Mike too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
What do you think there, sir? Go ahead.
Well, if you were a pro wrestler, I think you would be probably more of a dirty tactical heel.
Okay.
That would just cheat and claw your way to win.
True.
Okay. And there'll be no
high flying.
No high flying. No powerhousing. Just a sneaky little heel that just does everything behind the ref's back and gets by with it and does what you can to win.
The chains in my underwear, whatever y'all do. Yeah.
Oh, you pull the chains out? Yeah.
Or knives or
No, not knives.
Blades.
What are we doing here?
I don't know.
We don't pull knives out.
Forks.
Oh, you Abdullah now?
Butter knife.
So now she's going to use forks.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think?
I would think, I would not be a good wrestler. I think I'd try the referee.
Okay. Well.
At least I'd move around.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Not just stand there in the corner like a scared and don't know what to do. Like some of you guys. Liven up, babies. Put a little animation in that.
Well.
Act like you want to be there.
It's funny you mention that. Because,
I mean, speaking from an unprofessional opinion, but move. Look alive. Look excited.
You've also lived with one of the best and married one of the
yes.
best. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yes.
pat myself on the back. Anyway, funny you mentioned that. And the same person that sent that questions, the last two questions,
yes,
also said recently, and this is about watching WWE.
Okay.
The Raw, he was like, the refs didn't do much.
I know, y'all have got to wake up.
You told me when you was watching some of the AEW,
from
you
the
thought,
hotel room, yes.
Yeah. You thought the referees wasn't doing much.
They're not.
Now,
I don't understand. I know it's not about you, but at least, please, for the love of God, just act like you want to be there.
Right. I get that point.
You just...
Yep.
There's no excitement. There's no facial expressions.
Right. And
the counts are weak as fuck. I mean, I just don't get it.
Right.
What are you doing? You are the authority.
Right. The authority. Now listen.
And girls too. Good Lord.
You go to you go back to, seeing an official such as me.
Yeah.
And you look at
and Charles is good too.
Charles has always had the facials and the movements and all that. Yeah.
Look like you want to be there.
Yeah. And then Tommy Young was always good. Okay. Earl Hebner was always good. Okay. So what I'm getting at here is I think if it's that much of a big difference, and here's the thing, I watch the shows, and sometimes, even though I was a referee, I critique them, but I don't. Okay. But when it comes from just a rare, weird conversation.
Yeah.
Mike comes out of the blue and says it. You say it to me. And then I've noticed things, but I don't mention it, right?
Right.
But if you guys are noticing it and you're watching it, there's a problem. More people are probably seeing that.
Like, I just don't understand. Like, is this the new thing to be zombie ref? I don't know. I don't know if they're wanting to be more of a UFC type style, but... Do they do that too? But you got to think about it. But it's not the same. You can't copy something. You've got to be different. Right. It's pro wrestling. You got to be different than the UFC and the boxing. Or you just need to be UFC. Yeah. Well, I see your point, and I get it. But coming from me, I always took pride in not taking away from their match, but being able to look like I was actually an official. Yes. And be involved. Right. But being involved in enough that it made sense. Yep, of course. Yes. Don't be not over the top. Right. But enough where... Because you always said it's not about you, and that's right. No, it's not about the official. Please, look like you want to be there. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're not just hanging around in the corner. Right. And, another thing, if the big move comes and you do that kick out. Yeah. I'm surprised. Like, wow. Yeah. Like this. Every count. The audience feeds off you, I think. Right. Well, yeah, they feed off everything. Off everything, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But if it's a big kick out, your count should be different than the other counts that are just regular pinfalls. But if all your counts more strong, right? I would think. Just a little more animated. Yes. To the point where it looks like, oh my God, he kicked out. I can't even believe it myself. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. And that's not taken away from the match. No. I think it adds to it. No. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying. You're singing the choir to someone like me, of course, because it just makes no sense to me. Because I love being in there, and it's no better feeling in the world to me. And and if anyone would like to explain that to me, please do. I'd love to hear it. You got to know how to do. Here's the thing, and this will sum it up, I hope. When it comes to a professional wrestling referee, you got to know when to put your product placement at the times of need. You got to know when to hold them, know when to walk away, know when to fold them. Yeah. I missed that part. Pretty much. But Okay.
You get what I'm saying.
I do.
You got to know where to put your things.
Yeah.
Make it make sense at the right times, right moments.
Yeah,
Just
that
like the pro wrestlers have to
good,
know how to
yeah.
put in their things, their movesets,
Yeah.
their tactics of cheating at times
So
to
there's
make
a
it
lot
make sense.
that goes behind it. Yeah.
There's
It's not just.
there's a lot to go behind everything, but
Yeah.
you know, you got to work as a team, and you to be a good referee, you got to be able to know. Like I said, you got to be able to know when to do A or do C, if that makes any sense.
Right.
You got to know when to put your thing in there, your product placement. And if it's a big falsie, make that pin fall a little bit more animated. And when he kicks out, act a little excited that you can't believe it. But if it's a opening count, the first of the match, you can be a little more 1, 2, okay, he kicked out, whatever. But if it's exciting, get into it. So you got to know
I
what
think so, yeah.
product placement.
Show some emotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Act like you want to be there.
We can actually go into that more in depthly on an episode about how a referee should be. And like I was telling promoters, I'm interested in helping your referees. If you want me to come in, I don't have any problem with it. But we can tell them.
It seems like they need a lot of help. But yeah, I would never be a high flyer. I'm 6 feet tall, so that's probably way not a gymnast.
Yeah.
I'd break a hip. Thanks, Mike.
She'd be a sneaky heel.
Okay. Sneaky, dirty heel.
Yeah, like a Tully Blanchard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. But okay. All right. Thank you, Mike. Please send in more questions. All right. Ready for... This is from Andrew. You ready?
What are you waiting on?
Okay.
Okay.
What, if any, was your favorite Sting in WCW? Was it Crow Sting or Surfer Sting?
That would be none other than Surfer Sting. I love the blonde hair, the flat top, all the neon colors he wore.
What was that in the 80s?
That was the late 80s going into 1990.
Okay.
1996 is when he changed. Yep.
96?
Yep.
Is that when the movie came out?
I don't know when Crow, the movie about Crow, whatever that was, came out.
Is that kind of the same?
I don't even know if I even watched the whole movie.
I don't think I did either.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
I'm just aware of it.
Yeah. That wasn't hitting when I was
there's been talk that
15.
he didn't know anything about it, and he did that look.
Really?
And someone told him. They're like, someone told him he got it from that, and they.
Do you believe that?
Brought it on and showed him, hey, this is the Crow guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the true story behind it, but
weird timing.
Yeah.
Coincidence.
It's kind of weird. He changed his gimmick almost exactly like it. Yeah. But
I'm
still,
to believe there.
Surfer Sting is the best Sting ever.
But either way, it looked good.
You can't beat it.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite.
Surfer Sting. All right.
Yes.
The next two come from John from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Not Rocky Mount. No, not Rocky Mount. Is there Rocky Mount, North Carolina?
There is a North Carolina Rocky Mount.
Yeah, okay. There is.
So you're right or wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm right.
Okay.
There's a Nashville, North Carolina.
There is. But it's not.
It is Rocky Mount, yeah.
Okay.
Rocky.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, John. I don't know.
Thanks, John.
Do a little.
Wherever the hell you're from.
Oh my God. My friend Alexis, real quick, we was at work yesterday. She's like, I don't know all this geometry about these cities. I'm like, geometry? You mean geography?
Oh my. Huh.
Oh, yeah. It was funny.
Huh.
Also, fraternity and paternity was a discussion. She didn't know what a fraternity test was.
Well, let me tell you what happens in a fraternity.
Okay, moving on. It was funny.
Somebody's eating somebody's ball sweat. I'm just saying.
Ew.
It's a joke.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, number 4.
All right.
Any arenas that you didn't get to work in that you'd like to? I think somebody's asked you that before.
Have they?
Maybe not. I don't know. We
Well,
went through a lot of questions.
I'll answer it again.
Yes. Thank you, John.
I think it was because I said ECW Arena was one, right? Yeah. So
no, this one is that you didn't get to.
that I didn't get to. Well, ECW Arena is one I didn't get to.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
it was the same question. That's fine. That's fine. We can do repeats.
That
Thankful for the questions.
the Greensboro Coliseum. I never
You
refereed.
didn't? Never?
No.
Huh.
That would mean a lot to me. The Greensboro Coliseum would mean a lot to me because I went to Starrcade '86 in that building, among other events. Went to my first WWF card there in 1988.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got to see a lot of things in that building. But Greensboro Coliseum would be number one. ECW Arena would be in there too. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Madison Square Gardens.
Oh my God, you ain't kidding.
That's on the bucket list.
That's on the bucket list just to walk into.
Yeah.
Because that's the Northeast Arena. It's godly.
Aww.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Madison Square Garden, absolutely. That would probably be Greensboro. But Greensboro's up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So. Any more?
No.
No?
I've worked in a lot of places. Because you got to think, I'm a Memphis fan, remember?
Yeah.
I got to work in the Mid-South Coliseum.
Okay.
I got to work in the Nashville Fairgrounds for the Memphis territory many a times for Bert.
Yes.
I even paid building rent for Bert.
I even worked there myself.
Yes.
Not by choice.
The old Charlotte Coliseum, the Bojangles, worked in there several times. The Grady Cole Center in Charlotte was the Park Center back in the day for tapings. I worked in there. That was a big deal.
Is that still there?
It is.
Okay.
They still had a wrestling show there a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I would have to say, being that you can't work in Tampa at the Armory.
What about that ECW place in Philly? You saw?
That's the ECW Arena.
Oh, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yep.
Okay. Pardon me.
So
not following here.
So I think we hit it.
All right.
The nail on the head.
Okay, gotcha.
Madison Square Garden, Greensboro Coliseum, ECW Arena.
Okay.
I think we hit them all there. I would be content. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right. Question 2 from John. Okay. Who was the better opponent for Ric Flair? Dusty Rhodes or Ricky Steamboat?
Oh, man.
Ooh, good question, John.
That is a great question, but I'm going to tell you something on this. I'm going to get a lot of friggin' heat for this from some fans.
Friggin'.
Ready?
Ready.
Dusty Rhodes.
Well, I would think so, too. Why would that give you a lot of heat?
Well, I'm going to tell you why. Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair, they were having classic matches back in the early 80s, late 70s.
Okay.
Well, before I was even old enough to start going to it. And then Dusty came in the territory in 84. Steamboat leaves, goes to New York, which is WWF, by the way, when I say New York. And then Steamboat don't come back to what we know as NWA until Turner buys it in 1989.
Okay.
And Steamboat and Flair have 3 classic matches within like a 3 or 4 month period that were phenomenal. I mean, we're talking A+, not 5-star, but probably 6-star matches.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. But the reason I picked Dusty Rhodes over Ricky Steamboat is because Dusty was like Ric Flair. Dusty and Ric Flair went together better than anybody, in my opinion, in the mid-'80s. You put them against each other, and it made money.
Yeah.
Dusty and Flair for the NWA World Title. It made money. They did Starrcade 84, Starrcade 85 with these two guys, and then in 86, Dusty won the title in Greensboro in a cage, beat Flair for the world title. And I just think Dusty Rhodes had more charisma. Mm-hmm. He could do the interviews. He got the people in the houses at this point. Steamboat had moved on.
Right.
And Dusty was a hell of a better talker. Nothing against Steamboat. I love Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat's one of the greatest of all time. But if I had to pick the best opponent between them two for the Nature Boy, hands down, in my personal opinion, is Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream.
Very nice.
Yes. Dusty had best interviews ever. Hard times, baby. Hard times.
Hard times.
That's right.
All right. And our last question. Comes from Jackie Lynn in Bedford, Virginia. Thank you, Jackie Lynn. Who was your favorite tag team of the 1980s?
All right.
That's probably a lot to choose from.
A lot of good tag teams.
Yeah.
My favorite, though, growing up, because I wore the bandanas and all,
Oh, yeah.
were the Rock and Roll Express. Something about when they came on the scene, Morton, I don't know what it was. I guess, here's another thing. If we talk about the best sellers of all time, and when I mean sellers, I mean, let's say I'm beating you up like dog crap right now, right? I'm getting heat on you.
Mm-hmm.
You're selling it. But the people see your face, your expression.
Yes.
And they go, oh my God, I can't believe it. But you get behind him because you're like, I want this guy to get back up and beat the other one's ass, right? Ricky Steamboat was one. And in my personal opinion, if he's not second, he's up there tied with him. And that's Ricky Morton. There's something about when he sold, it's just like, oh my God, I hope he gets back up. I hope he does it. But Morton also, he was a guy that if he went singles on his own without Robert, he would have been 1,000 times successful. He didn't need Robert, but him and Robert was such a good tag team, and they were such good friends. He stayed the course, and you got to respect a guy for that.
Right, absolutely.
But Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, in my opinion, were my favorite tag team, and they got to be up there, arguably, maybe even the best tag team in our industry.
Who'd be a good second?
In the 80s, if we could pick from 80s teams, right?
Right.
Midnight Express, Jim Cornette.
Okay.
And I would probably pick Dennis and Bobby first, just because I'm a big Dennis Condrey fan. But Stan Lane and Bobby were also, they're, as much as they were the same, they were different, right? So you're kind of looking at different people here. But I still have to go with Dennis and Bobby first, and then Stan and Bobby second. But probably the Midnight Express faction would be second best tag team in the 1980s after the Rock and Roll.
Right. Very good.
Yeah. But if you're picking different categories, face team and a heel team, I would say Midnight Express are your best, and then the Rock and Roll Express is your best. If you're picking by categories like that.
Very nice.
Heel and face. Any more questions?
Nope, that wraps up the questions for today.
All right.
Unless you got anything up there.
You find anything else?
I did not. Oh, I did miss one. That's my fault. Thank you for pointing that out to me.
You're welcome.
All right.
We got to answer them all.
Oh, yes, Steven. I'm sorry. How did I miss that on my page? Maybe I didn't type it up good enough. Excuse me. I'm not a good secretary. Okay. So this comes from Steven, actually, from Rhode Island. Very cool. Up in the north. So Steven asked, who in your opinion did more damage to WCW? Ooh. Jim Herd or Vince Russo?
Does feel like a Jeopardy commit.
Who win no money though?
I wasn't there during the Herd era. That was way before my time.
Okay.
We're talking about 1989 or so.
So
1990 up until 91.
Okay.
I was not there during that era. I just heard stories and how much people hated this guy. But then as you heard...
So who was he, like the lead?
Executive something. I think he had Bischoff's position.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had some stupid ideas too. But here's the thing: he had a booking committee that wrote the show. He had people that actually did the shows, booked the talent, made the stories. So he wasn't involved with it.
Okay.
So I would say, if we're comparing the two, more damage control there.
Well, one lost it, one didn't. So
Russo would probably had done more damage, just for the fact that he was actually writing the stuff and they were actually letting it happen.
Yeah.
I look at it like this: Russo.
What do you mean, bro?
Yeah, bro. Russo basically, to me, he, from what I can see, I think he just wrote stuff, and sometimes it's like throwing a piece of spaghetti on the refrigerator to see if it's done. If it sticks, it's done. If it's not done, it falls.
I got a little. Look at me, I think.
He did. Because
I want to be in the spotlight. I want it to be all about me.
He did go to that, but here's the thing. Did you hear what he said, too?
I did not.
He said that he could draw more than the boys.
Well, that's naughty.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
Why
would you ever be that egotistical and...
Right. Well, there was...
Well, you didn't.
Well, here's the thing. I read old reviews on our shows from the time I was there.
Wow.
And the stuff he written, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I read these reviews given by Meltzer and different other critics. I can't, maybe Keller, a couple others during this time. And just hearing the negative comments about how this segment was bad and this segment was this bad and this match was that bad.
Well, who was above him to make it stop? Be like, look, you need to reevaluate this. Nobody? It was everybody's fault.
Well, I will say this. I can't think of everybody's name right now off the top of my head.
Right.
Because it's been many years ago. But I do know, I will say this. When we had a lot of our meetings, we had the production meetings. And the referees would all be in there with everybody else.
Yeah, as it should be.
They'd have this meeting. You'd get your format, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd have that format sitting there. You go through it. They'd read it off.
Mm-hmm.
Very seldom would you hear anybody else that would have any say would say, hey, we should do this, not that. It would just be read through. Everybody would get the hell out of that room as quick as they could. It was just another day at work.
Well,
and
that's a little sad.
I think that the ones that were in the business for so long got to the point they just wanted to check. Yeah. And not worried about the outcome of how the show came.
Unfortunately, that becomes, I think, every business at some point. It can be.
It does. The only
you get complacent. You take everything for granted.
The only thing I get upset about is I'm a young kid that wanted to be there, and I want to. And the money was good, but it wasn't about the money only.
Yeah, it was your dream.
It was. I wanted to always be there, and then for me to get there and to see this ship fall apart and not even have a clue it's falling apart because I don't know the total insides.
Yeah. And
then the next day, one day you think everything's fine. The next day the company's being sold. Then you like, oh, well, maybe I'll still be okay. And then you're not. And then the company's gone altogether, right? Mm-hmm. So I think he made a lot of bad decisions. Abso-friggin-lutely. I think a lot of his writing was pretty bad.
But somebody else allowed that to happen.
A lot of people. Yeah. And a lot of people did. You're right. And, so if we look at everything that I've studied over the years, and by me being a part and seeing the production meetings, the way a lot of them were put together, and not much was being changed. And here's the thing, when this stuff was being changed, they wouldn't change it in the meeting with everybody there. They would change this shit later in the evening and then tell you, oh, by the way, blah, blah, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And I remember a few times I'd be live on TV and they'd be like, hey, listen, And they come out, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And
Yeah, that's a great way to.
a lot of stuff's changed on the fly live in the headset, too. You got to just go with it.
Yeah.
And would you not? Would you like it just to stay a certain way? Absolutely. You think you'd have a good product, a good show, just go out there and do it. But when you're changing stuff up, and then here's the bad part, though. Here's what's really sad. If the first thing you did, you were told to do, sounded stupid, but the next thing they're calling live in your ear sounds even dumber, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
You came up with something even worse than we were doing to begin with.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I was refereeing Inside and Clown Posse with the 70s guy, Mike Awesome, and they're wrestling on top of a bus, an old school bus, and I've got to climb on top of this old school bus, you know. And some of that, you look at it and go, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm out here with the Inside and Clown Posse.
Yeah, they were cool back in the
day. Yeah. But then you think about it later and go, well, did that segment mean anything? Did it really register with the people? Are they going to care to continue watching this each and every week, right? Mm. That kind of stuff. And then just, like I said, on the fly, I'd be like, oh, by the way, when they get out the ring, they got 2 minutes. What do you mean? They got 2 minutes when they get out here. They ain't even got out here yet. You cut their segment down like 800 minutes. I mean, I'm making an exaggeration.
Right, I understand.
You know. But I remember one time that the time I'm talking about, it comes to memory, is in Conan's working Lance Storm and Winston-Salem, Lawrence Shaw's, January of 2001. And they had a Nitro and then Thunder taping after. This was live on Nitro. Conan's cutting his promo. Blah, 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 blah. After he cut his promo after Lance Storm cut his promo. Well, the time in the middle of Conan's, they go, hey, tell them they got 2 minutes. I'm thinking, damn, did they talk that long? Or did they cut that much, right?
Right.
And as soon as that bell rang, I said, you got 2 minutes. Because he was getting at the end of this promo. Yeah. He at the end of this promo, the bell rang, I said, 2 minutes. They look at me like, what? So they had to go through this quick 2-minute match.
Yeah.
So
it don't even seem like it's be worth 2 minutes.
Well, I guess they may have talked the rest of the 12 or whatever it was.
Oh my God! Well, then I said that's your fucking fault.
I guess I don't know what happened that night, but that's different. That's not really a storyline. Right. But I'm just saying, just weird stuff would happen all the time, and but the worst part was, like I told you, the meetings at times felt like it was just blah 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 blah. Let's get over this thing so we all go to catering or something, right? Yeah.
That's sad.
So, but I believe that's also tells you how bad they thought the writing was that was being done, I guess.
Why didn't somebody speak up?
I don't know.
But of course I don't know either.
I've listened to a lot of podcasts recently talking about WCW's era, and a lot of people, they reviewed like the pay-per-views and the TV shows, and then but when they start really talking about it, and they read back what the critics said at the time, and then they also read back how the match went down, you go, wow, that doesn't sound that good, does it? Yeah. So back to the question, though.
Yes.
I would say that to everything I heard, I'd have to give it to Russo.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Nothing personal.
Thanks a lot for...
Yeah. So...
Anyway.
Yeah. Was that it?
That's it.
All right. Well,
that's good.
I'm glad to be back.
Yes, me too.
It's been a few weeks, like we had talked earlier, but things happen, holidays, sickness. But we're back. We'll try to get it back on track once a week.
Back on track.
Next week, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Okay. That last question brought up some stuff.
Okay.
in my head.
Yeah.
Made me start gathering thoughts,
Gather some thoughts.
memories of WCW even more behind the scenes.
Okay.
Why don't we?
Tell us some dirt.
We're gonna deep dive into WCW next time, guys. During my time, we're really gonna deep dive this time. Not just talk about matches or road trips or whatever. We're gonna deep dive into it. We're gonna look up some. We'll look up some information online about what was going on during them times. Read some of the critics' stuff, and then you're gonna get my opinion on what was going on, and we'll see what we can do with that.
Sounds good.
I think it'll be a good show. If you have any other topics you want brought up, hit us up at WrestleRef123@gmail.com. If you don't, just listen every week.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yes.
Enjoy yourself. Once again, I do appreciate everyone listening.
Yes, thank you so much.
To the fans that when I come to your shows in your town, which I am taking indie bookings, come up and talk to me. I love the fans, like I said. Even if you're a little critical, I still love you. So anyway, everybody have a great day. We'll see you next time. What do you think?
Yes, I like it.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.